Wichita State's homestand continues, and our string of games on WSUTV continues. It'll be on Military Appreciation Night, Wichita State and Oral Roberts. Two teams separated by a couple of hours, and interstate. Shockers coming in search of win number 30. ORU already there. The Golden Eagles are 30-15. They've now met 17 consecutive years, at least one game. And the weather couldn't be better. It's a pretty good string of weather that we've had over the past couple of weeks. Should favor the hitters and should keep all the fans warm all evening long. The Shockers have won 6 in a row here at X Stadium. There you see the overall record. The Shockers and Golden Eagles meeting for the 65th time. Welcome into X Stadium. Shane Dennis and Denning Gehrig with you. Wichita State, of course, in the American, but in the Summit, it's like death, taxes, and ORU winning the Summit. That's a rite of passage. By the way, South Dakota State will be in here tomorrow night. Wichita State in the American, as I mentioned, they are chasing Tulane and trying to stay away from Memphis. As you see them, the Shockers with an outside shot at 7th if things break right against South Florida, and a couple of weekends from now at Memphis. It's one thing to have an All-American on your team, Denning, but it's quite another thing to have been slump-proof as Alec Boehm seems to have been this year. He's been real consistent.
Consistent is a perfect word for it. In the middle of the order, Alec Boehm has just been night in and night out Wichita State's best hitter, and now it's a matter of can they find protection around him. They've gotten a guy at the top of the order who's on base in front of him in Luke Ritter, but now it's finding guys who can protect him so that teams don't work around him. He had a hit in every game of that Cincinnati series, including that long ball that you see on Sunday. Swinging the bat well. Now the Shockers have to find someone to support him.
And speaking of Luke Ritter, he just had a hitting streak snapped on Sunday, but since the first month of the year, he has been unbelievable offensively, and now he finds himself second on the team and hitting at .322.
The hitting streak is over, but his hot stretch at the plate is absolutely not. He has been cooking and has given Wichita State plenty of runners early in ball games. He had a lot of his hits during that hitting streak in the first, second, or third innings. Just kind of sets the tone at the top of this Wichita State order.
Is second on the team in hits, only 3 behind Alec Boehm. Boehm with 58. Ritter has 53. All right, so Clayton McGinnis will get the start tonight. A 5-game week and some injury issues for Wichita State and some ineffectiveness on the weekend has caused Todd Butler to kind of shuffle the deck a little bit as far as his pitching staff is concerned. When we come back, we'll take a look at the WSU defense, the ORU lineup, and throw the first pitch on WSU TV.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new Student-Athlete Success Center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Welcome back to X Stadium in Tyler Field. Shocker Baseball, the American on WSU TV. It'll be Wichita State and ORU for the second time this year. It's kind of odd that it's been 2 months since these two programs have seen one another. Back on March 7th, they hooked up in Tulsa. Hunter Gibson gets to start this evening in left field. The quote-unquote left-handed lineup, as Taylor Varnell is left-handed for ORU. Denning, that means Duga in, Ritter at second, and then kind of shuffle the deck a little beyond that, although a day off for Trey Vickers, normal shortstop.
And well-deserved. He had played a lot of games in a row after coming back from an injury, started to slump a little bit at the plate. We started to get into the dog days of the college season, and giving him a day off in the midweek, certainly not a bad idea.
Nick Rourke will lead it off. It'll be Clayton McGinnis making his first start of the year. He did start earlier in his career. He kind of bounced back and forth. A lot of those Shocker relievers have had experience doing both. This year, until now, Clayton McGinnis was exclusively a reliever. This is his 28th appearance. First time that he's thrown the first pitch of a game this year. Here's ORU's lineup. Nick Rourke at the top. Only two other left-handers in the lineup, although a switch hitter. There you see Cal Hernandez in the two-hole. So we mentioned in the last segment that Wichita State has some injury issues, and not necessarily any new injury issues, but just keeping guys kind of on the shelf or at least on a short leash. And with a 5-game week, and they already shuffled the deck a little bit last weekend against Cincinnati, kind of presses Clayton McGinnis into service, and we'll probably see young kid Jacob Lindeman tomorrow night, too.
Everybody on the Wichita State pitching staff is going to have to be on call over the next 2 days. It'll be 18 innings where if you can get outs, you will be left out there until you can't go anymore.
Diving stop by Jeniston. He'll feed the pitcher covering, and for a team that recently, Denning, has had their issues defensively, that's a nice way to start here this evening.
Remember, Jeniston started the season as the everyday center fielder, but has been moved to first base as of late with Travis Young grabbing the job in center. And here he shows why he started at first base for much of his Shocker career. Excellent backhanded stop, and then completes the flip to McGinnis, who does a good job getting over.
So here's Cal Hernandez, who seems like he's been at ORU forever. Switch hitter, a dangerous hitter as well, up there from the left side, takes a called strike. Hernandez, second leading hitter on the team, leads their club with 10 doubles. Occasional power, a triple and a home run, but he's a gap-to-gap guy, I think you could say.
Doesn't really fit into that traditional third base profile, does he? Not a big guy,
no.
Not a whole lot of home run power. The 10 doubles, though, definitely jumps out at you. And he has hit the ball well against Wichita State in his career.
This has historically always been a really good hitting program. No different this year, 284. Power numbers a little bit down. Normally they bludgeon you to death with home runs, and Hernandez making a bid to left, and Gibson runs it down over toward the line. So a good sign here in the early going. A sprawling play by Genista at first, and Hunter Gibson with a nice read and stayed with it as the wind continued to blow away from him and left.
Gibson hasn't played a whole lot of left field this year. He's been a right fielder when he has been in the defensive alignment. It makes this look fairly routine. Tracked it well off the bat and turned that into a nice, smooth, comfortable out. 2 up and 2 down for Clayton McGinnis.
Spencer Henson is the DH, and he is one guy that has some power. Leads the team in Triple Crown categories. 8 home runs, 44 driven in.
He was mostly a reliever last season. 22 2/3 innings and 19 outings out of the bullpen for them. Only hit 118 and has been exclusively a hitter this season. I believe he has 1 start. Just had a huge offensive year as a first baseman and DH.
Well, you've also got Harrison Smith, who's playing shortstop. Trevor McCutcheon has done a little bit of both. McGinnis has a very quick and easy 1-2-3 first inning. Shockers coming up.
A part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shock the world.
Up and down in order, the Golden Eagles went in the top of the inning. Shockers coming to bat in the bottom of the first, facing Taylor Varnell. This is how ORU will stack up defensively. In center field, Nick Rottola, one of those other guys. It seems like he's been in that ORU program forever. He and Cal Hernandez. Hernandez is over there at the hot corner. Riley Kaiser, normally a catcher, getting the start at first base. And that means Brody Gibson will be behind the plate with Taylor Varnell. Wichita State will send a familiar trio up against him, although not necessarily in a conventional order. Dayton Dugas is going to hit second tonight. He's in there facing the lefty Taylor Varnell. It'll be Ritter, Dugas, and Bohm to start it. Genesta slides up to the cleanup spot. Troutwine moves one slot down. He's been slumping a little bit lately. Ross Cadena getting his third consecutive start at DH, and there you see Gibson, who we highlighted, making a nice running catch in the top of the inning.
Tough customer for Wichita State as far as midweek starters go. Varnell coming off a really good outing against Oklahoma State, went 4 scoreless innings. Tossed 6 solid frames against the Cowboys earlier this year and picked up a victory against Wichita State in the first meeting. Speaking of,
that was a strange game. The Shockers held to, at the time, a season low in hits with 3. They've 2 other times only gotten 3, including 2 days ago. And that one floats into center field. It's going to settle in front of the center fielder, Nick Ritola. So Ritter picks up where he left off. Had that streak snapped on Sunday, starts another one here. Anyway, to finish a thought on that game on March 7th, you had Taylor Varnell start. He ended up getting the win. 5 innings, struck out 7. Wichita State pitching struck out 17, including 13 from their bullpen, and yet lost 2-1.
I believe every pitcher that Wichita State threw in that ball game had at least 3 strikeouts.
Right. Strange days indeed. Dugas, he's wont to do against lefties, chases the first pitch and sprays it foul. Dugas, 5 home runs, 14 runs batted in. There you see Dayton's junior numbers. Chased a changeup, up and out away from him, 0-2.
Considerably better numbers for Dugas against left-handed pitching, and this is what you got to do against a righty like Dugas. Throw something off speed, get him out in front.
Varnell pretty much had one outing wreck his year. He's been pretty solid in the midweek, as Denning told you. This is his 10th start. Back through the middle, that leads Smith right to the bag, and even the speedy Dugas, no match for a ground ball right to second. So a 6-3 double play, and that's that.
Shockers have hit into a lot of double plays over the last several games. Cincinnati, one of the best in the country at turning them, including a triple play over the weekend, and this one fairly routine for Smith. Just a high bouncer leading him right to the bag, allows him to set the feet and make an accurate throw.
So if you're Taylor Varnell, this is how you want to be facing Alec Bohm. 2 outs and nobody on base. A low, 1 ball and no strikes, so says Mark Wagers behind the plate. Bohm, like Spencer Henson for ORU, leading the Shockers in the Triple Crown categories. Batting .333, hit his 10th home run here Sunday. Takes a change up high, and it's 2-0. As we mentioned during the top of the telecast, he just, after getting off to a red-hot start, came back down to earth a bit, but I don't think there's ever been any stretch of time where Bohm is quote-unquote slumped. Always got his hits and good swings in there.
Came back down to earth because he started in the stratosphere.
Yeah.
It was a ridiculous beginning to his season, and something interesting to watch tonight is clearly ORU is not subscribing to the Cincinnati theory of defensive shifts. They are playing Bohm pretty much straight away and even a little bit to the pull side, though very deep.
4-pitch walk, probably okay with Taylor Varnell. Especially lately. It's been Bohm and looking to get some help from everybody else. All apologies to Luke Ritter, who had that long hitting streak up at the top of the order, but the heart of the order, when Bohm and Ritter have been on, have been kind of touch and go for Wichita State. Grayson Genesta will get a chance here with 2 away. That one sails way high, so now 5 in a row out of the zone from Taylor Varnell.
guy who doesn't walk many. And we know that walk to Bohm was likely a selective, intentional walk, but only 18 free passes coming into tonight.
Wrapped hard on the ground, but right at Rourke. So, there was a hit, a walk, but a double play, the catalyst for Taylor Varnell in the bottom of the first.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Very quick and easy first inning for both of the pitchers, Taylor Varnell and Clayton McGinnis. For the Shockers, Clayton only had to throw 10 pitches in getting Rourke, Hernandez, and Spencer Henson. So Riley Kaiser will lead it off here in the second. And Denning, if you had to guess, had to wager any of the above, assuming he's effective, how many pitches and or innings Clayton McGinnis expected to get here?
If I had to wager, I'd say somewhere from 45 to 50 pitches. Ideally, that gets you through 3 innings, and then you play it by ear from there.
Sounds like a plan.
As long as the season is 2 1/3. He's done that a couple of times. So 10 pitches to get through 1 inning is an excellent start. And he's going to have to continue to be aggressive in the strike zone, throwing his fastball and also his curveball against righties is going to be very important this afternoon for Clayton.
McGinnis, statistically, Denning kind of broke it down for you, but he has really been a one-inning kind of guy. So to get 3 out of him, I think, would certainly be a good outing for Clayton McGinnis. And Bohm couldn't help him out on the first pitch as he played that one into ORU's first base runner. Gave ground to try to get the hop, but he will be saddled with an error. So for as well as Wichita State played in the first inning, Alec Bohm elected to try to back up for the hop, and as it often turns out, Denning, the ball played him.
I think you said it, Shane. You got to go get the baseball. At the very least, as a third baseman, try and get in front of it. Alec Bohm's a big boy, and if he slides over, he's likely able to knock that ball down and show off his strong throwing arm. Still, a first pitch swing is a good sign for Clayton McGinnis.
And I guess hindsight being perfect, Riley Kaiser's a catcher by trade, so even if you don't field it cleanly and knock it down like a catcher, probably have 1 pitch, 1 out. But now Andrew Pace, the right fielder. Andrew Pace, in case you're curious, has yet to ground into a double play yet this year. Junior from Beaumont, Texas. Part-timer, hitting .310. Two and one. Difference between 2 and 1 and 1 and 2 are pretty seismic, and that one was apparently just over but low. And McGinnis appeared to beat him with that fastball, 2 and 2.
That 1-1 offering was a look at the changeup that McGinnis will utilize against the left-handed bats in this ORU lineup. As Shane mentioned, Rourke, Pace, the 2 true lefties, Hernandez, a switch hitter. Against the righties, it'll be the curveball and then fastball command. Very important to both sides.
Yeah, that one sails outside and off the glove of Gunnar Troutwine. So down to second goes Riley Kaiser. Be a passed ball. So what really killed him Sunday, Denning, is kind of rearing its ugly head here in the second inning. E5, passed ball, runner at second, nobody out.
Well, Clayton put him in a position now where he has to pick his teammates up. Ideally, it'd be the other way around. We'll see if he comes up with a big pitch here on 3-2.
And that's a wild pitch on ball 4, so certainly not ideal. Runners at the corners through no credit of ORU's own, really. Here's Nick Rottola. Rottola, third leading hitter on the team for ORU. Doesn't walk much. He is their leading stolen base guy with 9. And after a series of defensive signs from Gunnar Troutwine, he'll step out in front of the plate and do it again.
Nick Rottola, a Wichita native, started his college career at Eastern Michigan, and the latest in a line of baseball-playing Rottolas. His older brother Tim, also a collegiate player at Liberty.
So the Shockers generally, McGinnis recently, more specifically, painted themselves into a corner. Yeah, check swing. He went too far, couldn't hold up. Big pitch, 1-1.
Gets in on Rottola here and generates just a half-hearted effort. No chance for Rottola to hold up.
Good let up, 1-2. I've often said there aren't too many times where you got to have a strikeout, and this probably wouldn't qualify. But boy, it'd be nice.
Wouldn't hurt, would it? Rottola's a tough guy to double up. He's got excellent speed, so if you can take care of him yourself and then try and induce the double play ball from Schmitz, that's maybe the way to go.
Well, they got a around the horn possibility and safe at first. Didn't get rid of it quite quick enough. So a fielder's choice. I was getting ready to say that Rottola is tops on the team in strikeouts. So he was a good candidate, but McGinnis couldn't put him away himself. But Shockers do record an out.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if that was the right decision by Bohm. And that comes from knowing the hitter. Rottola's speed makes it almost impossible to turn a double play. You have to be lightning quick. It's got to be a bullet hit right at you. Bohm's got that play right in front of him with Kaiser headed down the line from third base. I wonder if that may have been the right decision.
Runner goes, swing and a miss, and out at second base. Nice throw by Gunnar Troutwine. So after a forgettable start, you got the bases clear, 2 away, 1 in, and not the worst inning in the world if McGinnis can get Schmitz. Makes you wonder if that was a hit and run and there was a swing and a miss, no protection there.
Solo was certainly looking in for a long time. That was a heck of a throw from Gunnar Troutwine, right on the bag.
So as I alluded to, Rottola 9 out of 13 in stolen bases. Really the only thing even resembling a stolen base threat. He was hoping Schmitz would make contact. Didn't come around, 2-1. Schmitz has been part of a platoon at one of the outfield spots. They've been looking for that third outfielder to give them something offensively. Came into the game hitting 186. A.J. Archimbo was only hitting 083. So, bad beginning, but all's well that ends well. ORU with a 1-0 lead.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Got a query for you, Denning. Let me know when you're ready.
Fire away.
Defensively, Wichita State over the last, 3 or 4 weeks or so, been kicking it around at a rate like we haven't seen around here in quite a while. As a matter of fact, last year, Wichita State set a program record for fewest number of errors. And this is an old bunch, an experienced bunch. And another error committed in the top of the second leads to an unearned run. So I ask you, why? Any logical explanation? I think the coaches are walking around with their palms to the sky wondering. I think Todd Butler even said it. These guys don't even need to take in and out. They've been together so much. They don't even need to take a ground ball. And yet there's been kind of an epidemic of errors over the last, I'd say, really month or so.
I don't suppose it's possible that the comfort level gets so high working with one another for so long that you lose the edge a little bit. That's the best I've got, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. With what we saw from this unit last year, they flashed the leather from game 1 until the end of the season, and really at the beginning of this season.
I mean, they were airtight. It was a somewhat routine play. You're out.
Mm-hmm. Just one of those things, you almost just chalk it up to baseball.
Yeah.
And you move on.
Denning and I were talking between innings during the commercial how it must be nice if you're ORU and you trot Taylor Varnell out there in the midweek, guy throwing 88 to 92 consistently. Troutwine stays alive, 2-2.
Wichita State's a great example of, at this point in the season, if your midweek starter at the beginning of the year is still your midweek starter, that's great news, because most teams, either due to injury or ineffectiveness, have had to promote somebody, demote somebody, just basically make adjustments. And Varnell, the midweek starter early in the season against Wichita State, and the midweek starter now. And really, do not let the numbers fool you. This is a much better midweek starter than most teams are able to trot out at this point in the year.
I kind of messed around with Troutwine and lost him. A couple of borderline pitches didn't go his way, so leadoff man on there for the second consecutive inning.
Well, he really wanted the 2-2, and then he tries to come back with something that looks like a cutter here on 3-2, and Troutwine not having it. Didn't even flinch as that missed well down and inside. See how Wichita State elects to play this with Cadena.
Ross got the starts over the last couple as the DH, 1 out of 4 on Saturday. 0 for 2 with a walk a couple of days ago against Cincinnati. And a balk. You saw it right away. Did he bounce through his set position?
Looked like there was not a noticeable pause there from Varnell as the baseball parlance goes, rolling through the set position, and very quick on the call was Josh Shepis.
That is balk number 3 for Varnell, so it's not exactly a serial balker, but now and then. Paused, but not for very long. And it was called immediately. So, like Josh Shepis said, not good enough. The Shockers, speaking of some charity, we'll take that and see if Cadena can cash it in. Tried to bunted it twice. I was just getting ready to say, well, so much for the sacrifice bunt, but not so fast. Looked like maybe Ross trying to move Troutwine over to third and let Gibson knock him in.
Cadena may be guilty of the Cardinals sitting there trying to stab at it just a little bit. And it's not easy bunting velocity like Varnell has, but as a hitter you have to really pound it into your brain, catch the ball on the barrel. Don't try to stab at it.
Corners are in. Cadena not bunting, takes up and away, 1-1.
Wichita State doesn't do much of this as far as sacrifice bunting. Just 19, this being their 46th game of the season.
Cadena took a shot at right field. Now it's 1-2.
That's the right idea.
Yep.
Trying to shoot a fastball the other way, kind of capped it right off the end of the bat. First baseman Kaiser's playing on the line anyway, so probably for the best for Wichita State that ball did not stay fair.
One and two to Ross Cadena, the freshman from Texas. Thrown hard but high at 90 miles an hour, 2-2. Varnell, 2 months ago, 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. He was very good. And then he turned it over what's turned out to be a very lethal back end of their bullpen. You might want to be ahead of them after 6 innings. That'll do the job and maybe more. And safe at first, no play. Wisely, Rourke didn't throw it. And Cadena with a Baltimore chop base hit. The Shockers are in business now.
We mentioned how Kaiser was playing near the line at first base. Not only that, he was also playing relatively in, just slightly behind, even with the bag. And so this big high bouncer, almost an impossible play for him. Rourke did everything right, and most importantly, didn't throw it, because that was only going to be trouble if he lets go of this baseball.
Better have an awful lot of trust in your pitcher getting there and being able to handle a hot off-balance throw. Rourke thought better of it.
And we know left-handed pitchers are great athletes, but
they're not miracle workers. Little roller, going to turn into a double play. Troutwine scores. So, no RBI, Gibson, 6-4-3. That's the second double play that Shockers have hit into. Now, all of a sudden, talk about an epidemic. Wichita State, offensively, a double play rolling machine between Cincinnati and now.
Gunnar Troutwine, you saw over there at third base, hesitating quite a while to see that ball got through and got past the pitcher Varnell. And somewhat fortunate that Rourke, after receiving that underhand flip from Smith, didn't elect to go home. That might have been an interesting play.
The Jordan Boyer back in there tonight. He's been part of the last couple of week platoon system offensively, depending on opposing pitcher's throwing hand. Boyer got 1 start in the Cincinnati series, went 0-for-3. So I'm sure both teams would probably like to have the second inning over again, both offensively and defensively. Each team scored. Each team probably wished they got more. And each team probably thought the other team shouldn't have gotten any.
Eloquent.
But what has happened fairly quick, so I'll give them all that. 2 double plays turned by ORU. And our Troutwine gunned down a would-be base stealer in the top of the inning. So both those things have helped cover up some shabby defense here and there. If you count a balk being shabby. Boyer back at shortstop tonight. He started the first couple of weeks pretty consistently playing shortstop, thanks to a hamstring injury that led into the first couple of weeks of the season for Trey Vickers. Matter of fact, 2 months ago in the game against ORU, Vickers made his debut. Played defensively at the very end of that game after 10 games the Shockers had played.
Vickers putting together a long string of games played, and so gets the day off here this afternoon. And Jordan Boyer putting together a nice long string of pitches here as he's battled Taylor Varnell. His next offering will be the 8th of this at-bat.
Vickers actually had a streak of 89 consecutive starts, snapped opening day thanks to injury. So he's certainly used to being in there every day. And we'll get to watch today, at least to start with. Good battle here between Varnell and Boyer.
Over the years, Oral Roberts has not been shy about going to their bullpen in midweek games. So if you can get the pitch count up for Varnell after 3 or 4, Golden Eagles may be likely and liable to turn to the pen.
Hit well to right, but going to have to be hit better than that tonight, as the wind's not your friend if you're going to hit it to right field. And Boyer, after a long battle, is the third out. But the Shockers tie it up.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Each team with a run in the second inning. We head to the third. Clayton McGinnis back out there for his third inning of work. Gave up an unearned run in the top of the previous inning. This used to be, a couple of weeks ago, a much hotter topic around here, and that is the RPI as it pertains to teams in the American. Once upon a time, Denning, Wichita State was hanging around the top 10, but a few too many losses inside the conference and the rest of the conference getting hot really has relegated Wichita State to having to put their heads down, just grind it and win some ball games, stop worrying about the RPI at this point.
For a long time, it was the RPI that was kind of keeping Wichita State afloat as far as the at-large consideration goes, and I would say that that's still the strongest part of their resume by far, and now it's just a matter of taking care of business down the stretch here in the regular season.
Trying to pile up as many wins among those 6 remaining conference games as possible, starting this weekend against South Florida. Brody Gibson, the catcher, takes one right down the pipe from McGinnis. Clayton still got a decent pitch count. That was pitch number 26. Again, this is his first start of the season. His longest outing out of the pen this year has been 7 outs. Gibson, part-timer, getting the start behind the plate. And that one's in between the third base coach and the line, foul, 1-2. Gibson did not play in that previous meeting with Wichita State.
44 at-bats, 21 strikeouts, so almost one every 2 times up there for the freshman.
And that was too good from McGinnis at 1-2. And Gibson just served one into center field for a leadoff base hit. So that's now 2 out of the 3 leadoff men that have reached. Kaiser on the air last inning, and Gibson with a soft single into center.
Not the approach that you might expect from a guy with a strikeout every 2 times up. That time got a breaking ball on 2 strikes, kept the hands back long enough to just serve it on into center field.
So the final man to bat in the batting order, Harrison Smith. Golden Eagles shortstop. Up to move the runner over, pops one up, and it drops untouched and harmlessly over near the Shocker dugout. Harrison Smith has not laid down a sacrifice bunt this year. He is 16 of 55, 291. He pitches some. And by some, I mean he's pitched 8 times in relief. Basically runaway games. And it's quickly 0-2 to Harrison Smith. Jared Montoya played shortstop in the previous meeting, but his season's batting average is only .171. So there's a couple of positions ORU, I don't want to say necessarily unsettled, but they're not getting much out of offensively. There's a bunch of set it and forget it guys, but not all of them.
This lineup is missing probably its biggest bat and its biggest presence in Noah Cummings.
Absolutely.
The All-American right fielder who has been a scourge of the Summit League for a long time now. 7 home runs this season, but a double-digit home run guy a year ago. And take a bat like that out, create some question marks, create some shuffling.
.02 almost hit him, and that would have been disastrous as we head back to the top of the order and Rourke and Hernandez.
But it is kind of unique, to your point, though, to have a team like Oral Roberts that is kind of coming into its own that has so much uncertainty at key positions like catcher and shortstop.
Count holding at 1-2.
The old adage, you build a team up the middle. Wichita State, of course, has seniors Gunnar Troutwine behind the plate, Trey Vickers at shortstop. Oral Roberts has been forced to make some adjustments at those two key spots.
Good block by Troutwine. That bounced out in front of the plate. 2-2. We showed you their Summit League prowess, 19-5. They have, it's kind of interesting to compare, they have the same amount of regional appearances as Wichita State in their history, 27. Bounce foul, still 2-2.
17 straight regular season Summit League titles for the Golden Eagles, 18 straight tournament titles. It's
because partially they get to play in their yard. Whoever wins it gets to host, and it's there every single year. And not only do they win it every year, they rarely even lose a game in that tournament down there. Good pitch, struck him out. Fairly lengthy battle goes the way of Clayton McGinnis, his second strikeout.
Smith looking for something else on 2-2, and this is a fastball that catches some plate right on the outside edge, locks him up. Big strikeout from McGinnis, his second of the ballgame. That Summit League tournament, interesting format with the reduced number of teams, relatively speaking. I believe the number 1 seed each year, unless they've changed the format since I last checked, gets a double bye. So if you're the 1 seed, which Oral Roberts almost always is, you're in a good position to win the whole thing.
Shockers have already faced, of course it was before ORU, they faced Omaha out of the Summit. They opened up their home schedule, Shockers did, with Omaha, and actually got a pretty good tussle. That one's lined into left center field, a base hit. Gibson over to cut it off, fields it cleanly, and that's probably what kept Gibson at second base and holding. So Rourke with an opposite field base hit. Back come the Golden Eagles here in the third.
This is why it's so important to get Gibson and Smith down at the bottom part of this order, because at the top, there are some guys who can really swing it. Rourke, a senior, has been around a long time and having a very nice year. Shows why. The ability to drive it to the opposite field. Good swing.
Adam Keller up and going in the Shocker bullpen, so I think to Denning's point, 45 pitches / 3 innings is probably the expectation or the hope for McGinnis. If he get a ground ball, he could get both of them. Out in front of a pitch was Cal Hernandez. Hernandez hit one over toward the left field corner that Gibson ran down in the first. McGinnis had a very easy 1-2-3 inning, and then defense and some sloppiness plagued him and his teammates in the second, allowing ORU to get out on the board first. He jumps ahead of Hernandez, 0-2.
Shockers eager to kind of flip the script as far as the double plays are concerned. Went back and checked this series against Cincinnati the past weekend, combined with the 2 hit into so far tonight. That's 10 double plays, or 9 double plays and a triple play over the last 3+ ball games.
High strike 3, and Clayton McGinnis will take it 2 away. And Todd Butler's weekly coaches show last night kind of illustrated it and broke it down even further, the point that you were making, Denning, on all these double plays and triple plays for that matter. That's basically short-circuiting that inning, period. You hit into a double play, there's not much else going to go on that inning unless you defy baseball odds, especially the way they did it. The leadoff guy would get on, the second guy would hit into a double play. It's hard to score runs in games, in innings where you hit into a double play, and they did it a lot this past weekend.
Yeah, earlier tonight you brought up the difference between 2-1 and 1-2 in the count as being a massive swing. And there is no bigger change in the number of expected runs per inning in baseball than prior to and after a double play.
Yep.
Just drops off a cliff.
What'd you say, they hit into 10 double plays?
10. Well, 9 and
9 in a triple play?
Yeah. That counts, right?
Sure.
2 outs.
That's a ruined inning all by itself. One swing of the bat and you're out of the inning.
And so many of those, like we just talked about, have come when it's leadoff man on, double play. And it's just not only crushes the expected runs, it just crushes all the momentum you kind of get in the dugout.
Crushes your soul.
It does. It does.
Good luck cranking it back up and getting a run after you hit into a double play.
Especially right after, say, a guy puts together a great at-bat, grinds out 7 or 8 pitches, finds his way on. First pitch, 6-4-3 is just a killer.
Well, Clayton McGinnis is really close to getting out of the third inning with probably right about what you'd hope for. He's going to have to get their best hitters. Spencer Henson, who he struck out his first time up there. He climbed the ladder with him and tried to do the same thing again, but Henson got a piece of it. So he has absolutely got him by the neck, but he's got to make one more good quality pitch and maybe even off the plate. No pitch. Gunnar Troutwine a bit peeved at the late timeout granted by Mark Wagers.
Looked like he was trying to follow the same script if we want to read into that last pitch. Fastball up.
Still a lot of pitches to work with. He wants to get him to try to fish. He's lucky to have that one back. Still 0-2. Shockers and Golden Eagles here on Military Appreciation Night. Beautiful night for baseball and should favor the hitters. It was 88 at game time. Hot, muggy, windy. Baseball weather. 0-2 again. Fouled off again.
Clayton does not appear interested in throwing anything off the plate on 0-2. He's attacked him now with 3 different pitches, and Henson has been equal to the task each time. Look at that. We are lucky to work here. It is a beautiful night for baseball and just a beautiful evening in general.
Paid our dues the last 2 months, I don't mind saying, but better late than never. Finally, one out of the zone that Henson didn't swing at, 1-2.
Yeah, I don't miss the 35-degree with 35-mile-an-hour wind games against SIU Edwardsville.
You know, I feel like we had a little run there. I wouldn't call it a run, but the Nebraska series wasn't bad, and if memory serves, the UTA series wasn't too bad. But the rest of them seemed like they all got moved around as far as dates and game times because of the wind and the rain and everything else. Clayton McGinnis strikes out the side in the third, and if that's it for him, job well done. for number 40.
Become a part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shock the world.
Well, we kind of walked it out there, kind of speculated that it might be Clayton McGinnis' final inning, or that might be his final pitch. Don't know just yet. 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 unearned run, 4 strikeouts, 49 pitches, 35 of them for strikes. And since he, it's okay, Coach, I'm fine. I don't know if that was Mike Steele's version of the silent treatment or what, but Clayton McGinnis looks like lobbying for one more inning. That's a tremendous exchange right there.
I'm not sure if Mike Steele said anything that whole time. Clayton just standing at the railing saying, hope that was what you wanted.
Yeah, I got one more if you need me.
Well, that was a big pitch to get Henson with 2 on, and Wichita State may have found something against the big Oral Roberts designated hitter. Fastball is elevated, and he has not been able to catch up a couple times.
Travis Young to lead it off against Taylor Varnell. That one's deposited down the right field line and foul. It will be 9-1-2 in the Shocker order against Taylor Varnell. Gave you McGinnis early line. Varnell 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and no strikeouts. So the Shockers, I think by definition, have made him work and had some decent at-bats. Curveball, belt high strike going too. Young 1 out of 4 with a pair of strikeouts in the previous meeting back in March in Tulsa. Little bouncer. Smith's got to hurry. He does, and makes the play. 1 up and 1 down in the Shocker third. The first time that Varnell has retired a leadoff man.
Doesn't hurt to have a pitcher's arm, which Harrison Smith does out at shortstop. But here, this is all about doing the work early. Watch the footwork here from Harrison Smith. He gets his feet set up so that all of his momentum is going towards first base. He can then gather and get rid of it quickly, which you have to do with Travis Young getting down the line.
Part of this is giving credit to Taylor Varnell. Part of it is just ORU's deep staff in general. But there are a bunch of guys for Wichita State, and this is an old team, that have had very little success against ORU pitching. Ritter is 1 out of 2, 2 up and 2 down in the third. Trey Vickers, Alec Bohm, Luke Ritter, Dayton Duga, all those guys a career 200 hitter or worse against Golden Eagle pitching. And you talked about the luxury of having a guy like this, 88 to 92, pretty consistent all the time. Sometimes it's not about, even though winning the regular season league title, whatever league you're in, is very important, sometimes there's bigger fish to fry. And in Oral Roberts' situation, it's almost like that every year. So Taylor Varnell very possibly could become an important pitcher when it comes to their postseason fate.
I think he's a really good example of how year in and year out, Oral Roberts just seems to figure it out, basically. And they use these midweek games. I don't want to say experiments. That has kind of a negative connotation, but they'll try things. They will start a pitcher at DH and then pinch hit a righty or a lefty, depending on who's pitching. They'll give Varnell multiple chances. Then they'll run a bunch of different guys out of the bullpen just to kind of throw things at a wall and see what sticks. And by the end of the year, you can count on it. Oral Roberts will be better than they were at the beginning.
And a guy like Varnell, for example, let's assume they get out of their conference tournament. And even if they don't, let's say they get in the loser's bracket, perish the thought. But you'd have a pitcher like Taylor Varnell having you avoid elimination. And you got to feel good about that, as opposed to some people's midweek starters. And Duga couldn't quite get it over the top of Hernandez. Nice play, Cal Hernandez. The Shockers have gone in order, and we are through 3.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Cal Hernandez for ORU, known for his hitting, is a career .318 hitter, but defensively, Denning did the work early, as you like to say, and knew who his runner was.
Had to elevate quite a bit. A big high bouncer from Dayton Dugan, and then once he is able to glove it, like you said, speed from Dugan makes this a play where you got to get rid of it in a hurry, and he did so accurately.
Hernandez, native of Coppell, Texas, by way of Cisco Junior College. Riley Kaiser to lead it off. And so apparently Clayton McGinnis did talk Mike Steele into one more inning, if it took that. 3 innings, 1 unearned run for Clayton so far. He chips off a piece of the outside edge. McGinnis is making his 5th appearance in his career against ORU, his first start back on March 7th. He went 2 scoreless, striking out 4. So he's had a pretty good modicum of success, especially this year against them. Before this start, McGinnis 5 1/3 total innings, 8 strikeouts before tonight.
Right on right changeup. That was a really good one there to Kaiser. Good sinking action, moving down and in. Clayton McGinnis can throw this with consistency. Yikes.
Mm-hmm. Dropping off the proverbial table right there. Comes back with 89, and it's 1-2 to Riley Kaiser.
Every once in a while, Clayton will throw a pitch, whether it's that changeup or his curveball, that just makes you go, wow. If he can do that again, over and over again, this could be a real guy. I don't know how that missed.
I don't either. I was getting ready to write HBP. It's right by his nose. Well, I'd say he's got him set up.
Here comes something down and away.
Maybe. No. Well, and you just hit it on the head. If he can repeat not only his delivery, but the release point on those pitches that make you say, wow, that'd be one thing. But that 2-2 where he really wanted to make it happen was not close. Not that Clayton McGinnis is this guy or falls into this category necessarily, but so oftentimes when you make a really great pitch and it's not the last pitch of the at-bat, you're tempted to try to make the next one greater than that when actually all it has to be is just that good. Just do that again. It doesn't need to be better.
It's an easy trap to fall into.
Sure it is.
Sure. That's why I just never threw any great pitches. Just avoid that pitfall entirely.
Skied to left, near the line, near the pole. Gibson played it perfectly. One away. Save yourself a lot of heartache. Just don't make any good pitches, right?
Small sample size alert, but Hunter Gibson has made these 2 fly balls to left field look very easy because this was up there for about a year. No staggering at all. Just tracks this one calmly, settles under it, gets the feet planted, 2 hands, routine. That's the way it should be.
And you know what happens a lot of times at X Stadium for either visiting outfielders, left fielders, or those who don't play it often for Wichita State. Once you get over toward the line, Overrun it is right. Good pitch by McGinnis to Andrew Pace. 1 strike and nothing. So McGinnis working on a season-long now, 3 1/3 innings in his first start. Good straight changeup. Cut on and missed. 0-2. Clayton looks like he's having fun out there right about now. Throwing all of his pitches.
Had Pace out in front of him back in the second inning, eventually let him slip away for a walk. I'm sure Clayton would prefer to get a measure of revenge.
Tried to, didn't get the call, 1-2. And if you're wondering about his career long in innings, 2 years ago, as a freshman, he went into the 8th against Southern Illinois. 7 1/3 innings on May 1st of 2016. He couldn't get it, but Boyer could. 2 down.
Well, with Wichita State's somewhat injury-ravaged staff and some shortage of arms, this is a sight to see. Clayton McGinnis now 3 2/3 innings has allowed just the 1 unearned run and has really looked pretty good. Just working around a couple of base runners in the second and third, but now has set down 4 guys in a row and a chance for a 1-2-3 inning.
The problem with what you just said and having a 5-game week, no matter how good or effective McGinnis and or Lindemann are, there's a bigger plan. You can't just burn them up and say, go 6 or 7 innings and we'll see you next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
You got USF to deal with coming up this weekend, and you would think for all the world that assuming Connor Lungwitz and or Tommy Barnhouse aren't on the roster this weekend, that McGinnis and Lindemann will both be in the mix this weekend. McGinnis 1 pitch away from sailing through 4 innings. He continues to give ORU fits. Good job of climbing the ladder. Bertola went up there with him and couldn't get up on top of it.
Safe to say there has been a plan to elevate fastballs against this ORU team. Done that quite a bit, and it helps, too, that he's had good fastball velocity tonight. I've seen him mostly sitting 88 to 90, touched a 91 earlier. It doesn't do everything, but it makes your job a lot easier when you're throwing hard. Hard to get on top of 91 if your shoulders were extended.
Back up there again. So this is a pretty good clinic on Clayton McGinnis changing eye level to a hitter. A lot of different ways to make hitters uncomfortable without throwing it at their ribs and making them jump out of the way.
Moving the feet is a big one. I just think, I'm pretty sure you backed me up on this in the past, that the art of pitching inside with a purpose has died or is in the process of dying.
In conjunction with being difficult to live in there, off the plate without hitting people.
It's a little backup breaking ball from McGinnis. And probably up and maybe a little inside. But it almost came around and got the corner.
Another good pitch by McGinnis. Well-spotted fastball. 2-2. Shockers will have 3, 4, and 5 in the order in the bottom of the inning. Bohm cuts it off and safe. He did all he could. Little scratch single for Nick Rotola. Rotola tested Bohm in a bit of a different way back in the second inning. Hit a bouncer to him that Bohm tried to turn into a double play, but Rotola beat that throw too.
A little slower runner, Alec Bohm may have had him. It was a very nice barehanded play. Got rid of it quickly and on the run. Rotola just too fleet of foot. And Clayton McGinnis loses that battle, but can still bounce back and throw up a 0 if he can get Schmitz.
Rotola was a victim of what we think was a busted hit and run his last time up there, as he was gunned down trying to steal. Schmitz failed, if that was the plan, and he eventually flied to right. ORU has 3 hits. The Shockers have 2. Wichita State, the game's only error, led to ORU's run. One and one. After getting 2 quick outs, Rotola worked him over a little bit and then finally legged out that infield hit. Rotola draws a throw.
Running situation here, even though Rotola was caught stealing earlier. Guy up there in Schmitz who does not have much extra base pop. And with 2 outs, Rotola would like to get into scoring position. This will be on McGinnis to see if he can keep him close.
One and two. Wichita State has won 6 consecutive games over Oral Roberts in this stadium. Not quite the voodoo that ORU had on Wichita State over about a 10 or 12 year span down at their place, but 6 in a row is 6 in a row.
Teams have basically been trading blows for a while. Shockers haven't won down in Tulsa since 2013. And won 6 in a row here, so pretty much a predetermined split.
Save some gas money and some meal money and
take a 1-1 every year.
Chalk it up. So you guys win at your place, we win here. Got him looking, and Clayton McGinnis has struck out 5 through 4.
Become a part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shock the world.
All even at 1 apiece as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Shane Dennis, Denny Gehrig with you here on WSU TV. Alec Bohm to lead it off. Then Genista, then Troutwine to face Taylor Varnell. Varnell hasn't been as dominant as he was back in early March, but he'll take the results. Only 1 run in 3 innings so far, and only 45 pitches so far. He was very cautious with Alec Bohm. Basically pitched around him even though there were no base runners in the first, and then got Grayson Genista to end the inning. So it'll be Bohm, Genista, and Troutwine, the heart of the order for Wichita State, as they come up here in the bottom of the 4th. And that one's blasted to center field. 2-1. Alec Bohm with a first pitch home run. That's home run number 11 for the Golden Spikes Award watch list member. And the Shockers third baseman makes Taylor Varnell pay for throwing him anything close. He destroyed that ball to center field.
Facing Bohm with nobody on base is great, but you still have to face Alec Bohm, and that means that there's a potential for some run scoring. Elevated pitch here that Bohm still manages to get on top of, and this is just a missile. Barely over the center field fence, barely over the glove of Rottola, but was not in the air for long, and the Shockers have a lead at 2-1.
Only the 4th home run surrendered by Taylor Varnell all year. And the Shockers with single runs in the 2nd, and now here in the 4th. Alec Bohm, by the way, has just been a model of consistency, whether it's non-conference or inside the American. That one's going to find its way into right field. Genista, after the home run, is on there with a single. Bohm, almost exactly the same types of numbers inside and outside. 333, and I believe 5 home runs in and 5 home runs outside the conference as we draw nearer to these nominations for All-American, all the postseason stuff. Alec Bohm's had quite a year.
And hopefully gets rewarded for the kind of numbers and the kind of consistency that he's put up. And fun to watch at the plate all season long for Wichita State. And has definitely worked his way into some talks for high first-round selection.
Hit and run is on. It's going to work, and it'll be perfect. And maybe more than that, because Genesis is going to make it to third base. Good job by Gunnar Troutwine to get the bat on the ball. And Kaiser at first certainly didn't field it cleanly. And then the throw to Varnell covering was dropped and kind of boxed. And Genista heads up. There you see Genista's eyeballing the play the whole way. Varnell never saw it, and he had no shot to get Genista, who recognized it pretty much right away. We'll wait for the call.
Kaiser here needs to recognize that with Genista in motion, this is going to be a one-out play. No chance to get Genista advancing to second base. And so what he was trying to do is angle his body to set up a potential throw to second. Got himself into trouble, got himself an in-between hop.
Ross Cadena up there in a fairly big spot. Shockers have taken the lead but are poised for more. Ross, 4 out of 16 coming into this game. He had a chopping single to the right side his first time up there. It'll be E3.
2 E3s.
Times 2. Exactly right. A little topper to third. Genista stays put. So, Grayson not wanting to run into an out at home plate. Stays there. A productive out, I suppose you could define it, by Ross Cadena as Troutwine goes to second. So 1 down. You got to be 100% sure one way or the other. And if Genista's not going to sell out, then you just stay there.
All about your secondary lead. Whether you have a couple long steps towards the next base and whether you feel like you're able to get a good read off the bat. softly tapped to the left side. Would have been taking Hernandez to the plate.
And normally you're off on a ground ball because you want to stay out of the double play if they turn it up the middle, but that was not a double play ball hit by Cadenas. So Genesta determined on his own that he didn't want to potentially run into a Cal Hernandez throw to the plate. Interesting spot here for Hunter Gibson with a left-left matchup. Freshman for the Shockers. Basically be invited to knock in a run with anything but a strikeout. Infield is back. Tardy on the heater. It's 1-2. That may have been the pitch to handle right there.
Well, he'll now have to hit on Varnell's terms for the rest of the at-bat, and there's a good chance he won't see anything straight for the rest of the at-bat. Try and work him away, and if you're Gibson, obviously if you could elevate something, that'd be great, but on the ground up the middle will do the job.
Two and two. Two runners in scoring position. One in on the solo home run to start it by Alec Bohm. Home run number 45 for Wichita State as a team. That homer by Bohm. He's got 11. 3-2. Boyer would be next. Quite an at-bat by Hunter Gibson. Varnell walks him, and they're now loaded up for Jordan Boyer. Boyer does, in case you're curious, have a grand slam under his belt in his career.
Very nice at-bat from Gibson. Fell into a hole and then just would not be convinced to chase. A couple pitches that stayed up, and then that last fastball very close on 3-2 as Oral Roberts gets Spencer Henson, the designated hitter, who I mentioned had only pitched in one game this season, loose down in their bullpen.
It did not go well for Spencer in that one start that he had. So they're loaded up for Boyer. Shockers as a team hitting .400 with the bases loaded. 5 grand slams, but none since the UTA series. And an acrobatic 4-3 double play turns away Wichita State. It's been that kind of, last 72 hours or so for the Shockers.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Well, it seems like every time Wichita State needs an emergency starter to not only emerge but to pitch effectively, they've had somebody answer the bell. The latest is Clayton McGinnis, his first start of the season. He goes 4 innings, gives up 3 hits, 1 unearned run, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. He'll turn it over to Alex Siegel. Alex has had a star-crossed career so far, and his early going at Wichita State. Missed all of last year due to injury. Has been on the shelf here and there this year. He's appeared 9 times. Got some pretty ridiculous numbers when he's been out there. But he's had an issue with his throwing hand that's kept him shelved over the last month. But you see the strikeout numbers really jump off the stat sheet at you. A smooth, long, and lanky left-hander with 21 strikeouts in less than 13 innings.
A southpaw that this Wichita State staff has just been begging to get and stay healthy because they could not be more excited about his potential. Of course, was a relatively high draft pick out of high school. Felt like he was going to be an instant contributor last year, missed all of the season back this year, but somewhat limited. And anytime he's out there, he just flashes this tantalizing potential that hasn't quite been realized in its full form as of yet.
Alex will get the 8, 9, and 1 hitters here in the 5th for ORU. The Shockers got a home run in the 4th, loaded them up, and then yet another double play. Threw a cold rag on Wichita State's offensive threat. They've now hit into 3 double plays. As Jordan Boyer, the latest to hit in the rally killer, a 4-3 double play with the bases loaded. Off the end of the bat to right. Should be easy, and it is. Duga gathers it for the first out of the 5th. I assume, and I'm going to jump out on a limb here, I assume you're okay with Wichita State's camouflage tops, be it Military Appreciation Night and all.
Just tonight, yeah.
Okay. And the fact that they're actually
it's
camouflage.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
fine.
There. That's good. I'm also in agreement as far as that goes.
Listen, Missouri State, I'm sure they look cool, but you're not hiding from anything in maroon.
It's not camouflage.
Everybody can see you. Sorry. That needed to get off my chest for a long time.
The Padres probably should have put whatever you put on it, a registered trademark, patent, whatever. This is what camouflage uniforms look like. Do not deviate from this. This is how you do it. But good for Wichita State, both of us think.
West Virginia has some yellow and navy blue camos that are really something. For a while there, it took over college baseball. You'd see matchups where both teams were wearing some variation of camo or a camo hat. It was an alternate jersey that you would see almost once a weekend.
Easy play for Bohm, 2 down. And, yeah, to your point, you'd see teams playing either the first game of a series or the first game of a tournament going with their quote-unquote
their primaries almost. Yeah, it was a big deal, and I think has gradually kind of moved away from that. I don't want to sound all get off my lawn old man here, but white on white at home, gray on gray on the road. Just let's
mix it up on Sunday if you feel you need to.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's a formula that's worked for a long time.
And if you don't want to go grays, do what Oral Roberts is doing right now.
No problem with the blue tops over gray pants. Very good look. Very classic.
2 up and 2 down for Alex Siegel here in the 5th inning. Rourke has grounded to first. He could have 2 hits. Grayson Genista robbed him on a diving play in the 1st. And he touched McGinnis in the 3rd for a base hit.
Since we're talking Oral Roberts uniforms, I've had this little factoid rattling around in my brain for a long time. See there the Easton logo on the ORU jerseys? I believe they were the first school to wear the full Easton garb. Most teams will be either Adidas, Nike, or Under Armour.
Under Armour, yeah. Good-looking pitch, didn't get the call. And ORU, true to form, got the camo hats here on Military Appreciation Night at X Stadium. Siegel 1 strike away from a perfect 5th.
Just jumps out of the hand. The velocity on the scoreboard is not going to wow you, but I wouldn't want to be a left-handed hitter against Alex Siegel. It's long, it's lanky.
Not going to do Siegel justice. You're right. It's more than that. Not held by Troutwine. Rourke gets a stay of execution up there. There's something to be said for the easy gas or the nice smooth delivery where the ball gets on you quicker than you think, because the delivery doesn't speed you up, doesn't speed your mind up at the plate. One more pitch to make to Nick Rourke, and he hung one out into the gap in right center field, and Young's going to have to do a lot to hold this to 2, and actually Rourke is content with a 2-out double. Hit perfectly in the gap in right center field and rolled to the wall.
Give a good hitter an extra swing. This is what he can do with it. Just barely stayed alive with the foul tip that Troutwine couldn't hold, and then Siegel left something out over the plate. Rourke has now notched base hits to left and to right center, showing why he was a .313 hitter coming into play tonight.
So now a tough hombre in Cal Hernandez. He's their second leading hitter. Mentioned when he made that nice play on Dayton Dugas. He's known most for his bat in the 2 years that he's been in there at ORU. He has just piled up a bunch of at-bats. He's pushing 400 over the last 2 years. This is his 103rd start tonight. Look out.
That's new.
I don't think I've seen that yet this year.
Seen some thrown bats, but typically they are thrown back to the netting
on
or
the
into
screen,
the dugout.
Yeah, this one wasn't bothering anybody.
Jordan Boyer's fielding percentage on bats, now 1,000 for the year.
Looked it right into the glove.
This is when your brain is telling you stop and the arms are already swinging.
No BGs.
Humid night.
Mm-hmm.
We'll stick 'em. We'll be ready to go.
So Rourke with a 2-out double. That is hit number 4 for ORU. First for extra bases.
Do you feel like as a hitter you might be a little hesitant to swing right after throwing a bat?
Well, it's not congruent, but when a golf club kind of feels like it's going to slip out of your hand, the last thing you want to do is swing it again. So I think it would probably, there'd be some merit to that.
Or at least swing hard, I guess. Might be a little mental block.
Wild pitch from Siegel, and now ORU is one Wichita State gift away from tying up the game. Don't even need a hit for it.
That makes Rourke's decision to stop at second base all the more important. I thought that ball got really deep into the gap in right center field, and Rourke elected to slam on the brakes at second. Of course, if he had been at third, that would have scored a run. But now Siegel can still get out of this with one good pitch.
Still way ahead in the count. Well, there's your answer. Kyle Hernandez either needs some batting gloves next time he comes up there or another bat.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Halfway through Wichita State and ORU, the return trip of a home-and-home series that was pretty much 2 months in the making. 9-1-2 for the Shockers. This trio went up and down in order in the third. Young hit a ground ball to the shortstop, his first time up there. Told you at the very top, this series has gone on for a long, long time, uninterrupted for 17 years. A series in which they've met at least once for the last 17 straight, much like Oklahoma State in that way. But the Shockers have taken on ORU 3 times in NCAA play. Good changeup, cut on and missed. All 3 of them here back in 2002. ORU actually beat Wichita State twice, bounced them out of their own regional. 15-8 was the elimination game. Shockers beat ORU in 2007, 11-4. 3-pitch strikeout for Taylor Varnell. Young's 0 for 2. That's how the 5th inning starts.
It's a lot of Besser bat scores that you just listed off there. 15-8 sounds about right. Good, really good sequence here from Varnell, and Young having a hard time dealing with the changeup on 0-1, and then the curveball there on 0-2. That was just the first strikeout for Varnell, who came into tonight with very good punch-out numbers. He had 52 in just under 45 innings of work.
Struck out 7 Shockers back in March.
And you can see why. Good stuff.
Really good stuff. And it's gotten better as the year's gone on. Creeping up into the low 90s with his fastball on occasion. A native of Sayre, Oklahoma, and western Oklahoma State for a year. Well, after having none through 4, he's gone through Young and Ritter. Ritter's now 1 for 3.
Another changeup here, and Ritter out in front of it. Got to imagine that these two programs are recruiting a lot of the same kids from those smaller Oklahoma towns. That was where Wichita State made its living in their recruiting territory for a long time.
Their closer, who, if you're a Shocker fan, you don't want to see tonight, from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, redshirt senior Kyler Stout, who closed out the game against Wichita State down there. And Ryan Fulmer in his 6th season at ORU, an alum of Oklahoma State, so while not ORU, pretty close. He knows the importance of the Oklahoma kids. Can't blame Taylor Varnell for falling in love with his changeup this inning. Throwing the ball right where he wanted. Duga avoids the distinction of being the 3rd consecutive strikeout, but Shockers go 1-2-3 nonetheless.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new Student-Athlete Success Center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
2-1 Shockers. Wichita State with 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth. Golden Eagles lone run in the top of the second. Shane and Denning with you here at the Eck. Homestand continues for the Shockers, and we'll be back at it again tomorrow night as South Dakota State, fellow Summit member, comes to town. Be another 6 o'clock first pitch, and you can catch it right here, our swan song here on WSU TV. And then the home schedule does continue, that 9-game homestand that will conclude with the game against Kansas State. And the Shockers hit the road for 3 at Memphis. And that's it for the regular season. Spencer Henson has struck out twice. Alex Siegel will face him for the first time. So McGinnis went 4, now Alex Siegel in his second inning of work. One away.
So far, at least, all playing out to plan for Wichita State. 4 innings, more than you could have possibly expected, I think, from Clayton McGinnis with his previous workload. And Siegel so far, an inning and a third scoreless. If you can hand this off to the back end of the bullpen, I feel like you're in pretty good shape.
What was it, that Central Arkansas-Kansas duo that everybody was either holding their breath, had a rabbit's foot, crossing their fingers, all the above, and everything fell right into plan, maybe even more so than everybody thought? It was what, Tyler Davis and Preston Snavely, I believe, that duo, right?
That's correct. And then Jacob Lindemann and Paxton Wallace to finish out one of those ball games. Like I said, if you're on the pitching staff, you're going to throw over the next couple weeks. It's all hands on deck. Doesn't matter if you're a guy like Wallace who's thrown 1 inning or a guy like Lindemann who's thrown 3. You're going to cede some time. You're going to have important innings to throw.
Well, and isn't that the lesson to be learned here if you're a young player? And even though you're not exactly where you'd like to be opening day or opening weekend or within the first couple of weeks, that's how important it is.
Stay locked in.
Yep. Work at your craft. You never know. Hard to convince yourself when you're a kid, 19, 20, 21 years old, and you're not getting the innings that you want, but you never know when they'll come.
After coming from high school or junior college where you were probably the guy.
Get all the innings you could stand there. 3-2 to Riley Kaiser, who's officially 0 for 2.
And we've seen kind of the offshoot of that with the explosion of the transfer market in the last several years. Guys who don't see the playing time that they're looking for in the first year or so, willing to move on pretty quick.
Siegel has struck out 2. And for the second straight inning, has retired the first 2 of the inning. Now he'll get another left-hander, and Andrew Pace.
Nasty. Little cutting action to it, going down and in. Sharp, late break. The right hand hitting Kaiser. He retires the 2 dangerous right-handed bats.
Siegel's first 5 or 6 outings this year were pretty much fastball changeup as the Shocker coaching staff kind of babied him back to health. And then within the last couple of outings, now they had to be spaced out over a couple of weeks due to a thumb issue, but throwing more breaking balls. Had a really good curveball going in a route at Kansas where he got the final 3 outs up there. But we're seeing the whole store now from Alex Siegel. Half swing, no swing. He went about as far as he could without getting caught, Andrew Pace. One and two. ORU got an unearned run in the second. Kaiser led off and reached on an error by Bohm. Went second on a passed ball. So they had a pretty cheap run in that second inning, ORU did. Now, Siegel has gone full with Andrew Pace, 3-2. Lost him. Siegel had him 0-2 and puts on left-handed hitting Andrew Pace.
Tries to front door breaking ball here, just never did come back around to the inside corner. And that was the guy that Siegel was trying to get. Ahead of a lefty, 0-2 with 2 outs and nobody aboard. And now it's back into a string of 4 straight right-handed hitters.
First one, Nick Rotola. And a little flare. It's caught by Ritter. So Siegel only had to throw one more pitch. And we go to the bottom of the 6th with the Shockers clinging to a 1-run lead.
Become a part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shock the world.
Well, just about what we thought. Midweek game, 88 degrees, wind blowing out, midweek pitching.
2-1
Your thoughts?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, this always happens, right? We say Friday night, couple aces going, wind blowing in, and it's 11-8. And then we head into the midweek, and suddenly everyone's throwing up zeros. Baseball strikes again.
You know, I can remember thinking it and certainly saying it a lot when it comes to midweek games, warm weather, late in the season. But I'd be willing to say, and who knows how this game will end, but I'd be willing to say that more often than not, it's quote-unquote a pitcher's duel than it is a 16-14 game or even a 10-9 game when you're talking about good weather in the midweek. It never seems to work out like you think.
Last year in the program, 2016, when we played Oral Roberts here at home, wind was blowing out. This is a guy who would have taken advantage of that quite a bit. Alec Bohm, who's now up to 11 home runs on the season. But in that game back in 2016, it was 15-8. And so that's the one that really jumps out to me as far as the epitome of kind of a midweek game late in the season. Wind blowing out.
3 hours and 35 minutes.
Absolutely.
A lot of pitching changes. Howitzer into center field. Rotola was playing on the warning track practically, and he has to come sprinting in to make the play. Well, I was going to say, it absolutely didn't want anything to do with Bohm in the first. Then he ambushed the first pitch in the fourth, drove it over the center field fence, and that more of a conventional battle between Varnell and him. So Taylor Varnell continues to just really be a solid number 4 for them. And it makes you wonder, Denning, Josh McMinn is their other starter, who's started 11 times. He's 3-5 with a 4.97 wonder if there's any temptation, or has been, or will be, to sneak Varnell into the weekend rotation, although they're running out of weekends.
Well, they've won 9 games in a row, and part of it, I feel like, is just the coaching staff wants to stick with what's working.
I can't blame them. Genesta strikes out on 3 pitches. He's now 1 for 3. Troutwine due up. He has walked and reached on an error. Genesta ran out of barrel right there. Gunner's had a pretty good night at the plate. You wouldn't know it by his stat line, but he worked a walk. He advanced on a balk and then came around to score on a double play. And then on a hit and run with Genesta at first, just kind of stuck the bat out there, poked it over to the first baseman, and reached.
Varnell is starting to find it.
And I guess so.
And it's a good thing Wichita State has a lead. He has made these last couple innings look pretty clinical.
Well, between Brady Womack, Grant Townsend, and their closer Kyler Stout, you better be ahead of them.
Absolutely.
At this point in the game. That was a mistake, but didn't miss strike zone by much. 1-2. Taylor Varnell might turn himself into a decent draft. Flashed 3 pretty darn good pitches here tonight. If not draft, a good senior sign for somebody. Got in on Troutwine's hands enough. Right up the chute into shallow center, and Rourke collects it. And the Shockers go down in order in the 6th.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Clayton McGinnis tossed a season-long 4 innings. Alex Siegel trying to match his season-long, going out for his 3rd inning of work here in this, the top half of the 7th. It'll be the lower third of the Golden Eagle order facing Alex. He has permitted 1 hit, 1 walk, and struck out 2. Hits are even at 4 from a couple of teams that really have made their living this year, most of the time with offense. Schmitz, Gibson, Smith, scheduled hitters. Schmitz is fly to right and struck out. Those were both against Clayton McGinnis. Well, bat handle ground ball, 1 pitch, and 1 out for Alex Siegel.
Siegel was pretty much the lone bright spot in that game back on the 4th against Cincinnati. What was ultimately an 8-2 loss for Wichita State. He went 3 strong innings, allowed just the 1 run, struck out 5, and building on that again tonight. This is a great sign for Wichita State if he can stay healthy and turn into a guy who can give them some length.
Again, they have been short Connor Lungwitz and Tommy Barnhouse now for the better part of 3 weeks. Barnhouse left a start, and that really was the start of Wichita State's tumultuous month there where they were playing musical chairs with their pitchers. 2 balls and no strikes. And even if Lungwitz and or Barnhouse come back, it'll be a ease them into it kind of thing where you can't expect much more than an inning at a time out of them. So every little bit helps, but don't expect miracles.
Shows you just how tenuous a college pitching staff is.
You're right.
When it comes to a weekend rotation and that relationship with the midweek. You lose one guy, and it can all start to spiral in a hurry.
Nice play by Alec Boehm, and maybe the best part about that play, Denning, is he didn't play umpire. Finished the play. A beauty.
Probably had time to field this with the leather, but made it harder than it had to be and made it look really cool. With the bare hand, and I think he got caught in between right before he ended up grabbing it. He was like, should I let this go? Should I grab it with the glove? Because he is right on the line.
And could it be because of the side spin, he was left no choice than to bare hand?
That may have definitely played a part in it. Regardless, though, he got to show off probably his best attribute as a defender, and that's his throwing arm. It's quick arm action. He gets rid of it in a hurry, and it's generally very accurate.
Anyway, we were talking about Wichita State and a college baseball team's reliance on your pitching staff staying intact or close to it as you can. If it's one well-timed or not so well-timed guy, it only takes one. I mean, for one guy to go down and everybody else's role to change, man, you're asking for a lot. And versatility from your pitchers. You know, all of a sudden you have a role. Well, now this isn't your role. Here's what it is. Here's what we need you to do from here on out.
I know we prepared all fall and early spring for you to do precisely this. Well, you're not going to do that
that's
anymore. Right. As the double barrel action begins, Adam Keller on the left, Keelan Kilgore on the right. Shockers preparing for that top of the order for ORU, which has a lefty, a switch hitter, and a righty. Alex Siegel needs to throw Harrison Smith a strike here.
Well, he has, in each of his previous 2 innings, had 2 outs and nobody on. The next guy reached. And he can't avoid that happening again. Back to the top of the order, Nick Rourke, 2 out of 3.
Alex Siegel can put together a really good outing tonight, and I still think there will be some teachable moments from Mike Steele and Todd Butler. Stay in focus with 2 outs and nobody aboard. It's a good way to get yourself into trouble, allowing 2-out runners, and he's done it to a couple of guys that he needs to be getting. Pace was a lefty down 0-2, Smith batting in the 9-hole. He's got good enough stuff where he's going to get out of most of these innings where it's a runner at first base and 2 outs, but still staying aggressive.
Well, it robs you of innings potentially later on in the game. You have to throw all these extra pitches because you have a little mental lapse with 2 outs and nobody on. It's nice to have 2 outs and nobody on, but if you're throwing 10 or 12 extra pitches that are really unnecessary, then you're just hurting yourself. Now, I don't know that Alex Siegel would necessarily be a guy that would go 4 or 5 tonight anyway, but he could have been through 3 a lot quicker.
And again, that can all be rendered a moot point if he gets Rourke.
Right.
He has done that a lot against left-handed hitters this year. He's made it look pretty easy at times, but he could make it easier on himself.
Well, and he did after that walk to Pace that you mentioned, got Rottola on the very next pitch. But now he's had to throw a few extra to Nick Rourke, who is a very veteran hitter and not likely to help out Alex Siegel like maybe some other left-hand batters would. And as we say it, that's an easy roller to first. And 3 scoreless innings by Alex Siegel. Stretch time for the Shockers here at the Eck.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Taylor Varnell for Oral Roberts working on a career best in duration. If he gets one more out, he'll set a season and career high in innings pitched in an outing. Oklahoma State on April 17th, as Denning mentioned earlier in the game, is his high water mark, 6 innings. Six in the books, and Ross Cadena will be the first to greet him here in the home half of the 7th. Shockers got 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 4th. Stood up so far. 2 Shocker pitchers have combined to give up 1 unearned run to pretty high-powered ORU offense. Cadena is singled and grounded out. 3rd consecutive start at DH.
Jane, I believe we had a defensive change heading into this half inning as A.J. Archambault took over in left field for Alex Schmitz.
Three and 0. There he is.
So
86 pitches for Varnell, so not an exorbitant amount, but he's fallen behind Cadena.
Schmitz will finish the game 0 for 3. Fly out, ground out, and strikeout.
Missed badly, ball 4. So there's a very important insurance run for the Shockers with a leadoff walk in the 7th. And again, in case you joined us late, this is a very lethal back end of ORU's bullpen in Womack, Townsend, and Stout. 3-headed monster down there. Josh DeBacker is going to come up and bunt for Hunter Gibson.
Pinch bunt, yeah.
DeBacker actually has been a pretty good pinch hitter this year, but he's one of the more accomplished bunters Shockers have over on the bench, so that's likely what he's going to be called upon to do, and he can stay and play the outfield if Todd Butler so chooses. And now Catsby's going to run for Cadena. So this is big. Late inning, leadoff walk, close game. Good bunter, fast base runner. And Boyer and Young to follow.
This will be a test of Wichita State's execution here. And it starts with Josh DeBacker being able to get down a sacrifice bunt against a tough left-handed pitcher. Everybody in the park knows that's what he's up there to do.
Hard back to the mound. Varnell goes to second out there. Normally, DeBacker up to the task, but that was just a little too hard and directly back to the pitcher. So you talked about the execution. ORU wins that battle.
Just need to be dead and better from DeBacker or angled somewhere else. Too much on it, and fairly easy play for Varnell, who just had to make sure that his body was squared up make an accurate throw down to second base. DeBacker hustling to beat the return throw.
And that's not always automatic, should be pointed out, for pitchers to be able to throw accurately to bases, but Varnell did. And in doing so, he establishes a career high in innings pitched in a game, 6 1/3. Boyer to the gap in right center. Long run for Rottola, and he makes the catch. DeBacker will make it back to first, but Jordan Boyer almost made up for DeBacker's bunt. Nice play by Rottola, and that hurts for the Shockers.
Boyer first pitch swinging. Drives this one towards right center field with authority, and Rottola was shaded towards left center field. He had a long run and basically just used his speed. Outruns the baseball to make a lunging catch and maybe save this game for Oral Roberts. It's a little early to say that, but that would have been a huge insurance run for the Shockers to get.
Well, and the wind didn't help Wichita State any either because it blew it toward Rottola just enough. Young's had a tough go of it, ground out and a strikeout. There you see that south wind that maybe straightened that ball out a little bit, took the slice off of it, and Rottola appreciative. 2 down in the Shocker 7th.
That was closer to a balk than Varnell's actual balk.
I concur. When you put it that way.
An exaggerated step that was really pushing the 45-degree angle.
DeBacker goes. And into center field, the throw goes. DeBacker will hang on at second with a stolen base. Even with a slide step by Taylor Varnell, DeBacker was able to swipe the bag.
Going first movement on a lefty. And like you said, it was a slide step, so it gave Gibson a pretty good chance behind the plate to throw out DeBacker, but he skipped the throw in, made it a very difficult pick. Now the Shockers get a man in scoring position with 2 outs. We'll see if Travis Young, who's been a very good hitter with runners in scoring position this year, 323, can come through once again.
Archambault, the left fielder, quite shallow and left. In case a base hit is in front of him, it wouldn't be a sure thing that DeBacker scores. Pace and right very deep for some reason. See if Varnell gives in to Young, the 9-hole. Nope. Good take by Travis Young. There you see pace. If he was any deeper, he'd need a ticket.
That's not an alignment you see against most 9-hole hitters.
No, it's not.
Deep to the opposite field, shallow to the pull side.
Can't convince me there's a scouting report that says that's what you need to do against Travis Young, but there they are. Little tap to third. Oh, Hernandez, what a play. They've done that a few times tonight. Cal Hernandez cut it off on the in-between hop, and Wichita State will have to settle for a 1-run lead heading to the 8th.
Become a part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shock the world.
To the 8th we go. Pitchers duel continues. Taylor Varnell and now 3 Wichita State pitchers as Cody Tyler climbs the hill for the 8th inning. This isn't the end of the game. This isn't a save situation per se, but this may save the game if Wichita State goes on to win. 2, 3, and 4 in the order here in the 8th face the Shocker veteran.
This is the big-time inning for sure, and I think that's why Todd Butler and Mike Steele feel confident handing it off to their redshirt senior from Terrell, Texas, who is coming off one of his best outings as a Shocker. 3 scoreless innings to pick up the save. Against Cincinnati, he allowed 4 hits, but he struck out 5, and that has contributed to a ridiculous strikeout-to-walk ratio, 30-4 for the left-hander this year.
This will be his second appearance in the season series. Retired 4, struck out 3 in that strikeout parade by Shocker pitchers in a losing effort. Lost 2-1 there, leading 2-1 here. Cal Hernandez 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts and lost the bat in a couple of swings in his last at bat.
As you might suspect, Josh DeBacker has remained in the game and taken over in left field for Hunter Gibson.
Outfield straight away, relatively deep. There's been a southerly breeze all game. Hernandez this year hasn't really been a home run threat, only has 1, but that doesn't make him any less dangerous. Bohm right on the line at third, playing no doubles, and thank you very much, right at him. 1 out.
That's a big one.
Sure is.
Hernandez is a tough customer, and Tyler got in on him just enough. Chops it right down to Bohm, who thankfully was positioned right on the third base line. Plenty of time, as you can see, to set his feet and make an accurate toss across. That is a huge first out for Cody Tyler.
When you hear no doubles, it's corner infielders and outfielders. An outfielder, when told to play no doubles, nothing better land over your head except for a home run. And for a corner infielder, nothing better get between you and the line. If you can sprawl out, for example, if you're Bohm to your left and don't get it, that'll still just be a single. But if somebody squirts one between you and the line, now we got trouble. Spencer Henson is 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. And that, while sounds like good news, still makes you nervous. He came into the game, as you see there, hitting .380. Their team leader in home runs with 8. Two down in the ORU 8th. Anything going on down there in the bullpen that you'd like to fill us in on there, Denny?
Well, Chandler Sandberg's warming up.
Okay.
Well, that's to be expected.
Sure.
Liam Eddy is also tossing alongside him. He is actually the one who is up on a mound at the moment. My guess is if Tyler happened to run into trouble here in the 8th and there was a right-handed hitter up, Shockers might have gone to Eddy, and Chandler Sandberg being readied for the 9th. That is pure speculation.
Oh, bad handle foul ball. Kaiser didn't mean to do it. 0-1. Riley Kaiser reached on an error, fly to left, struck out.
Remodel the kitchen.
He loved those.
All up in it.
Didn't mean to do it. Foul balls. Free strikes.
There's spray charts for hitters. I would love to see a heat map of Cody Tyler fastball locations because I'm pretty sure they are all on the inside corner to right-handed hitters, the outside corner to lefties. He almost never throws a fastball away to righties. right where Troutwine is set up right now.
He got Henson with a little wrinkle that was kind of right out over the plate. But, yeah, if they're straight, they're in underneath those right-hand batters' hands almost exclusively. A good little slider right there. One and two. Shockers will have the top of the order in the bottom of the eighth. Bohm comes charging, gets the hop. And Cody Tyler turns in 3 ground balls. The Shockers looking for some insurance in the bottom of the eighth.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Alec Bohm's kind of been in the middle of everything tonight, Denning. He hit a solo home run, but he's been tested a fair amount of times over there at third. If he lets this ball bounce one more time, he doesn't get the out here.
That would have been trouble for sure, and that's why as an infielder you really got to be aggressive coming to get that first or second hop, because on this turf, if you let it bounce one more time, A, it becomes a lot more unpredictable as to what kind of hop you're going to get, and B, if it hops again, there's a good chance it's not going to come down before the runner's already at the bag. So Bohm did everything right there, including getting rid of it in a hurry. Nice play.
Well, bad news is here comes Brady Womax. Good news is ORU's behind. Womax is their best reliever statistically, 2-0 with 1 save, a team best 2.35 ERA, 23 innings, 6 earned runs, 32 strikeouts. Top of the order, bottom of the eighth, Wichita State. Shockers and ORU traded runs in the second. Bohm's home run in the fourth is the difference.
Part of that three-headed monster that ORU has deployed so often this season, and Womax was on the shelf for the early part of this season. He didn't make his first appearance until March 3rd against SIU Edwardsville, but since then he's been used pretty frequently and has been very good when called upon.
Belted to left center. And Archambault's not going to be able to get it. Boy, Wichita State just getting a base runner against Womax. You figure Shockers would be in good shape, but a leadoff double is hard to top. Luke Ritter is now 2 out of 4.
Another opportunity for Wichita State to try and execute down the stretch. They'll have a leadoff man aboard thanks to Luke Ritter, who is not waiting around. This ball's blasted to left field. Well struck, another multi-hit game for Ritter, who is very happy to get another hitting streak started.
11th two-base hit on the season for Ritter, and a huge insurance run out there at second base. Duga going to get a chance to hit against a righty Womax. We'll see if he tries to bunt his way on. Taking all the way, 1-0. Duga against Varnell, grounded out 3 times, once into a double play. So Varnell cannot win it. Leaves after 7 innings and 2 runs. Scorched right at Hernandez. Tough luck for Dayton Duga on a hanging breaking ball. Couldn't have hit it any harder. But as it turns out, Denning, a non-productive out. There stays Ritter at second. That might be big.
Can't fault Dayton Duga. Did everything right there. That's a hanging breaking ball, like you said. Stayed elevated on the inner part of the plate, and he smashed it. Just unfortunately, right at an ORU defender, and Hernandez has been rock solid at the hot corner this year.
Well, Bowman Janista will get the opportunity here to get the Shockers breathing room. Is that even fair to say if it's 3-1 against these guys?
No way they...
Yeah, they are.
Okay, all right.
I was getting ready to say if Dugas would have gotten him over, then they would have had the luxury, I suppose, of pitching around him, not having to bring the infield in and setting up a double play. But the fact that Dugas didn't get him over has ORU basically playing this straight up like it's the second inning, which clearly it isn't.
I guess I don't understand. Just because Dugas didn't get him over, you can still pitch around Bohm and set up the double play.
Now, granted, Womack's just threw a really good breaking ball. It's 0-2, so you can play with him a little bit. But, boy, one mistake, and it might not come back. 0-2. Big-time battle here. Hernandez can't get it out of the glove. And a heads-up base running play by Luke Ritter. Knew Hernandez had to charge it, nobody home. And while it didn't necessarily right then bite him in the you-know-where, that's a hit. And Wichita State kind of made him pay for that.
Yeah, to me, just pitching to Bohm in general was an unnecessary risk that you didn't need to take. And right after we say that Hernandez has been rock solid at third base, he has trouble with the exchange here, trying to get the ball from the glove to the throwing hand. Golden opportunity for Wichita State.
And a guy that could really use a hit. Genista did have one earlier, but didn't look great against Taylor Varnell. Grounded out to second and also struck out on 3 pitches. I was just getting ready to say it's a really good matchup because Womack is a strikeout guy and Bohm doesn't strike out much. And Womack couldn't put him away. Want to know to Genista. Grayson wishes he had that one back. Looked like a let up that was right out over the plate.
That facial expression says, I wish I had that pitch back. 82 miles per hour and center cut.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
Womack is lucky it's not 5-1. Ritter doubled to start the inning. Dugas hit a smash to third. Bohm with a swinging bunt to third for a base hit. Now Genista. Last foul, now a 2-strike count to Genista. Womack's, when he gives up hits, they're normally just singles. He had given up 22 in 23 innings. A pretty good, not great, 244 batting average. But 20 singles, 1 double, 1 homer. So you got to string some things together normally against Brady Womack, and the Shockers doing their best here in the bottom of the 8th. Well, I think, Denny, you can safely say that now Grayson has seen the whole store from Womack.
Saw in that last shot how much Grayson is choking up on the bat, doing everything he can not to strike out, put something in play here. Of course, Wichita State has been victimized by a lot of double plays over the last 3+ games, including a couple big ones earlier tonight.
Genista strikes out, and the Shockers have left it up to Troutwine to cash this in, which was, at the beginning of the inning, a golden opportunity.
Fastball running up and away from Genista. Maybe just a touch off the plate outside. Tempting enough to offer at. Tough pitch to hit.
Troutwine has walked, scored, reached on an error, and popped to second. In the ninth, it'll be Pace, Rottola, Archambault. Those are your scheduled hitters. We'll see what Ryan Fulmer has in store once we get there. Bounced out in front of home plate, and Bohm was off with the pitch, and he'll make it to second without a play. So Troutwine looked like he had his mind dead set on swinging at the first pitch no matter where it was, and fortunately for Womack, he bounced it.
Not entirely sure if this was a design play right there.
Can't imagine.
Taken off, or else a very good read. And like you said, that was a swing from Troutwine. Guy trying to ambush a first pitch fastball. Didn't get it.
One and one. And that was one to hit. 91 down the middle, and Troutwine could only foul it back. Ritter doubled to start the inning. He's at third with two down. There you see Bohm. Pretty good take there on 1 and 2. Gunnar Troutwine is the second leading RBI man, behind only Bohm. Jacob Catchby, the scheduled hitter next. Cross that bridge when we come to it. 3 and 2. Good plate appearance by Troutwine, as it turns out. So now they're loaded up.
He has worked a couple of really nice at-bats tonight. Did so back in the second inning when he ground out a walk against Varnell, and this time lays off a couple close pitches from Womack. 3-2, tried to go to a slider.
That was his best right there, too.
That was a strike for about 75% of the way to home plate. Troutwine not fooled.
So here's Mason O'Brien hitting for Catchby, who ran for Cadena. They're loaded up again. Shockers hit into a double play earlier in the game with them loaded. And O'Brien has found himself ahead in the count after a very high breaking ball. O'Brien, back in the Nebraska series, hit one of their 5 grand slams that they have to their credit this season. But his opportunities lately have been few and far between. 24 out of 89. 3 doubles and that 1 grand slam.
Yeah, had just 1 at-bat in the series against UCF. Didn't play at all in the Cincinnati series. And only 1 appearance at Houston as well. So since the start of American Conference play, haven't seen much of Mason O'Brien, but a chance here to give Wichita State some much-needed breathing room.
Got a hanging breaking ball that he fouled back. And a borderline fastball that went O'Brien's way. 2 and 2, and certainly Womack would like to make it happen here. Double, single walk. In between a ground out and a strikeout. 2 and 2 to O'Brien. And ORU will have one last chance in the ninth, still down 2-1.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Well, it is 2-1. It's been that way since the fourth. And Chandler Sanborn on to try to make it stand up. 2-1, Shockers. Sanborn will be appearing for the 23rd time. He's 0-2 with 7 saves. He did not pitch earlier this year against ORU. Last year, in a game against the Golden Eagles, 2 innings, 2 strikeouts in 1 appearance.
Search of save number 8. Last picked one up against UCF back on April 28th. There's the numbers for Sanborn. Of course, 43 strikeouts in just 25 2/3 innings. Was touched up for a run over the weekend in his only appearance against Cincinnati, but for the most part has been one of the most reliable bullpen arms that Todd Butler has available, and on to try and close out a very important midweek victory.
Andrew Pace will start the 9th inning for ORU. The Golden Eagles have gone down in order in the 1st and in the 8th, but really not much going in any other inning. They got a 2-out walk in the 7th, and a 2-out double in the 5th, 2-out single in the 4th. Both offenses have been very quiet. Sanborn pours one in there for a strike.
Hard sliders, hard fastballs from Chandler Sanborn. Not much of a let-up from him. Fastball is going to be anywhere from 92 to 95. He'll touch some 96s and 97s on occasion. But for the most part, just a 2-pitch guy who's been used, for the most part, in just 1-inning stints.
Trying to atone for that outing on Sunday, wouldn't you say?
I think he's out for a little measure of revenge.
Yeah, that one hurt. Wasn't a save situation, of course, but when the closer comes out in a Sunday game, regardless of the outing or the opportunity, whether it's a save situation or not, you got to run one of your best arms out there, and it didn't work out for Todd Butler and the Shockers. Two and two. And the leadoff man is on. So Wichita State missed a golden opportunity to tack on at least one run in the previous half inning. And Pace muscles one into right, and he'll represent the tying run to lead off the 9th inning.
just fighting off a high fastball that was running in on him. Pulled the hands in and loops it out into right field just in front of Dayton Dugas. And now we will see if ORU is able to execute.
Nick Rottola, 1 out of 3. Safe lead at first. Rottola stabs at it. It's 0-1. Denning touched on it earlier in the game. It's sometimes, especially in college, hard for a guy to get a bunt down on a guy throwing particularly hard. And certainly Chandler Sandburn fits that bill most nights. We'll see if Rottola still intends on bunting. He has 2 sacrifice bunts this year.
You can kind of see it in the on-deck circle of that shot right there, but Trevor McCutcheon has grabbed a bat and prepares to pinch hit. Again, it was Archambault who came on for Schmitz in left field, but doesn't appear as though he will be batting.
Not surprisingly, Archambault is 3 for 36 this year. A strike thrown is the first order of business for Chandler Sandburn here in a sacrifice situation. And when you got a guy with an arm and strikeout numbers like Sandburn, a sacrifice bunt is certainly not the end of the world. More than capable of striking out at least one of the next 2 outs.
That's interesting.
Yes, it was. 2-2. Rottola cut on and missed at a 94-mile-an-hour fastball after showing bunt the previous 3 pitches.
I was not expecting that.
I don't think Alec Bohm was expecting it either over there at third.
Fully prepared for ORU to play the small ball game, or at least make Sandburn throw another strike.
Just that close to a strikeout. Still 2-2. Pace certainly doesn't figure to be going anywhere. He hasn't even attempted a steal yet this year, but you never know. Sandburn certainly has to at least be mindful that he's over there. Shockers got a leadoff double in the bottom of the 8th, failed to score. They'll try to choke off this rally before it starts here in the top of the 9th. Troutwine has room. 1 out.
An important non-productive out for Wichita State. And I wonder if Oral Roberts maybe outthought themselves just a little bit, taking the bunt off there from Rottola. Sandburn comes back to get him. This is Gunnar Troutwine's ball all the way. Gets settled under it. Here you can see him making the call, throws the mask off to the side in which the ball will not drift, and makes the play.
So here's McCutcheon, 13 for 77. That's 169. 27 strikeouts and 77 at-bats. Bohm makes the catch, and I'm not sure that Boyer saw it in the twilight, but oh well. 2 outs. Let me ask you something before potentially this game ends. You subscribe to the theory of don't play for the tie on the road, you play to win? That's the conventional thing, you know, play to win on the road, play to tie at home because you got the last at bat.
No, not particularly.
I mean, they were tempted there for a couple of pitches. He actually stabbed at one, Rottola did.
I think that the context is important, and down towards the bottom part of the order, you don't have a whole lot of guys capable of hitting a 2-run homer that are going to give you the win anyway. So in this situation, I think playing for the tie probably the best way to go about it.
Montoya is pinch hitting for Gibson, another sub-200 hitter. Had a notion laid off. Jared Montoya has struck out 32 times in 82 at-bats. These guys are not afraid to turn the bat loose. And Sandburn elected to throw a breaking ball. It got past Troutwine, and there's the tying run at second base on a 171 hitter.
I know that's a ball in the turf, but Gunnar Troutwine's got to do a better job of sliding over and getting some part of his body on it. That is a huge 90 feet for Oral Roberts. What previously was going to take an extra base hit, now just a single away from likely tying this game up.
And good for Montoya, cutting a loose on 2-0. Came up empty at 95.
But good for him.
But, yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do as a pinch hitter.
Absolutely.
See a fastball strike. Let it go.
Figuratively. Don't literally let it go.
Looking at you, Cal Hernandez.
2-2.
96.
I don't think we're going to see any more sliders from Chandler Sandburn. Just a guess. The records are now identical. Wichita State 30-16, Oral Roberts 30-16. They trade 2-1 decisions 2 months apart. Denning and I will be back right after this.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, in the category of just shows you never know, a midweek game is played 2-1. Wichita State victorious. And they even the season series against Oral Roberts with each team victorious 2-1 over the other. What do you say? Same bat time, same bat channel. Do it again tomorrow night. South Dakota State, the Summit team. How you feel about that?
I feel like this is just an important win for Wichita State. They're all important at this point in the season, but to reach 30 wins, a very impressive milestone, and to do it in this fashion, I think was good. It shows that Wichita State, not a team that relies on the bats at all times to get wins. To pull out a 2-1 win in the midweek, get some excellent pitching from McGinnis and 3 bullpen arms. 2 enthusiastic thumbs up from this unbiased supporter.
McGinnis the win, Varnell the tough luck loss. Save goes to Chandler Sandburn, and South Dakota State comes to town, and we'll bring it to you tomorrow at 6 right here on WSUTV. For Denning Gehrig, I'm Shane Dennis. Thanks so much for watching. Shockers win at 2-1. So long from X Stadium in Wichita.
Shockers taking on the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State. See you tomorrow night here at 6 o'clock. Shockers, I'd like to thank everyone in attendance for coming on Military Appreciation Night for soccer baseball. On behalf of Coach Butler and the Kansas Department of Transportation, please drive home safely.